Hello, and welcome to the Bold Leadership Story Show, where we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And today I have the exceptional pleasure of speaking with Miss Renee Scott. And Renee has been in the Temecula Valley for how long?
Oh gosh, since 2001, 22 years now.
Okay, so well, and you've got you raised your family here.
Yes.
How many kids?
I have two kids, two boys. My oldest is 20, and my baby, I call him my little one, but he's taller than me. He's 17, almost 18.
Wow, so you're like an empty nester almost. Are they both going to school, or are they following your mom or their mom's entrepreneurial bent?
My oldest is in college. My youngest will be a senior
Okay.
this year, and I think he's going to be my entrepreneur that follows in my footsteps.
Yeah, why do you say that? Has he started some companies already?
It's interesting. He, from the time he was young, has always said, I want to own a business. He's always been interested in fitness, nutrition, real estate, all the things that interest me. And I see in him that spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm excited for him. I'm
Awesome.
excited for both of them, honestly. They're
Yeah. Where's your oldest going to school?
He's going to JC right now
Okay.
and then looking at transferring in his mind. He's, engineering, coding, all of the things that my brain does not
Yeah, I
does
went to
not do.
school in San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly.
Okay. Oh, we went and looked at Cal Poly. He absolutely loved it. Beautiful.
Yeah, if you're a technical person, then that's all. It's got to be on your list. And if
Yes.
you live in California, I mean, it's absolutely incredible up there. Um, and the engineering school is bar none probably the best in California, besides maybe one or two of the UCs, maybe MIT. But I think Cal Poly focuses more on uh, learning by doing, smaller
Yes.
classes, and you get a lot of projects. And when you leave there, you've got skills.
When
It's
we
not
went to
just
tour
theory.
the school, they were showing us some of the projects they were working on, and I
Little
was blown
commercial for
away.
Cal Poly here.
Yeah, seriously.
So where is he? Is he like pretty close to a decision, or he's in school now?
He's in school.
So where
Yes.
do
So
you decide to go?
well, he's just at the
That's right.
JC.
He's in JC.
Yeah.
So he's going to
Yeah.
finish it up, and then he's going to. It's not doesn't matter where you finish your associates. It's where you graduate from when they look at your next job.
Yes.
Yeah. So cool. Well,
I'll
good
put in
luck
a
with
plug,
that.
an extra plug for for Cal Poly.
Yeah. So you started out your career as a registered dietitian, correct?
I did. Yes. I went to school originally, started off, I thought I was going to be a dance major and then switched it my first year as soon as I got to college. I
Yeah.
thought,
What was it that made you switch?
I loved to dance,
Uh-huh.
but I thought, what is the long-term goal? And I was teaching some dance classes at the time,
What
and
kind of dance was it?
mostly jazz. I loved
Okay,
jazz.
cool. I took a jazz class in college.
Jazz hands.
Yeah. It was fun. All the girls are in the dance
You
classes.
know what? That was a really smart move on your part, Jim, I have to
Yeah, I
say.
had fun.
I loved it. I loved it. It was my passion. I loved it. But I thought, you know what? I didn't see myself teaching. And I thought that's probably where I would end up. And that was not my passion. And I started talking with people and saying, what are my other options? And I was speaking with someone and she shared that she was taking some nutrition classes.
Hmm.
And I thought that has always been of interest to me. And that's something that would apply to my life as well. And I was very intrigued by that. And I started taking a couple of classes and realized very quickly that that was a passion of mine.
Okay,
Finished my degree,
very cool.
a registered dietitian, and worked in the hospital setting first, then in the public health setting, and then realized that I really wanted to work more in prevention and really helping people not get to the hospital and just helping
Why is
them move.
that? What was it that you were seeing in your work in the hospitals that kind of prompted you to want to do that? Because I'm thinking that you're going from the frying pan into the fire a little bit. you know?
It was, it was an eye opener for me getting into the hospital setting. And I realized my degree taught me nutrition, but I really didn't know how to talk to people.
Okay.
And I thought it's not food. Like, it is food, but it's not about the food. And that really was so much of it. And I realized I'm talking to people who are already most of their lives made some decisions that landed them here in the hospital.
Mhm.
And in the hospital setting, I thought this is not a great place to coach them to make changes. They just want to go home. They're stressed out. Their family's stressed out. All they're thinking about is getting home. And I thought, I really want to help people. I saw people at very young ages dealing with some things that I thought, gosh, if they just had a little more education and
Mhm.
guidance, maybe it could have looked different. And I started becoming really passionate about that, and then realizing, okay, there's nutrition knowledge, but there's people skills. How do you talk to people? And I saw a lot in the hospital, family members who would come in and they meant well, but they would shame the people. They would try to get them to shift by shaming them. And I watched that and I realized it never worked. It never worked. And I
So
just
what did
thought,
you do? How did you, what was your thought on how to do it better?
I was young at the time. I'll be honest with you. I was young, and there were so many times where I would walk out of the room and I would think that didn't go well. And it felt
Why?
like I
What
had
was it that
failed.
didn't go well?
Um, just like people would shut down, right? In the face of shame,
Hmm.
people shut down and they're like, I'm not listening to anything.
So it was like
And
they just, you could see it like turn off. Yeah.
absolutely. And I thought, wow, I've gotten this education in nutrition, but I didn't have classes where they taught us how to actually talk to people. And so I was on the job learning, and I would kind of shut down. I'm like, I'm in the room and I'm going, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do here. And so that really became for me like, okay, this is where I want to learn and where I want to grow and where I want to come alongside people and be a partner with them in their health, not someone who is shaming them. And I thought, you know what, how do I learn best? I really learn when people are graceful with me and when they make it simple and, not trying to shift everything all at once, but um, and so that was really exciting to me. And I thought, I want to get better at that. I want to get better at talking to people and really discovering what's really going on and how can I really serve them and support them best.
Wow. That's, and seems to me the, from my experience, limited though it is, um, in the clinical world, everything is pretty much, by the book and procedures, and you got to do these things. And in the end, you need to um, make money, right? So you're offering protocols and services and different things. Um,
Yes.
so, and
Giving
but
lists, do this, do this, do this, but not realizing. And I started to realize with myself after I had my first son, I was like, I have a degree in nutrition. I have this background, and yet I found myself when I wasn't getting any sleep, having a new baby, that all of a sudden it'd be 3 o'clock. I didn't need anything. I had coffee and chocolate if I had anything.
two of my
And
favorites.
yeah, right. Fantastic. But I realized knowledge is not the only, it's not the only answer. What was keeping me from making those healthy choices? It wasn't a lack of knowledge.
Mm.
It was, my life was all of a sudden different. And I was learning how to deal with that. And I thought, I want to work with people and saying, okay, what does your life look like? How do we start creating these habits when life is challenging and when it doesn't look perfect? I don't know anybody today who isn't busy and overwhelmed. And, whether it's just with work projects, or they've got small kids, or they've got kids in sports. I talk to so many moms, they've got three kids all in different sports, and they finish their workday and they're driving to practices and they're just going, I'm just driving through fast food because it just feels like the only option. We're having dinner in the car, and trying to get everybody there. So, I realize it's not a lack of knowledge really that keeps people from doing it. It's trying to figure out how to manage everything all at once and how to create habits that serve them when life is overwhelming and chaotic.
Okay, so you were at a point where you'd establish yourself in a professional environment with highly in a sort of highly regulated place for offering help or assistance with nutrition, and you weren't finding satisfaction for yourself because you weren't able, the process that was there wasn't really getting optimal results as far as you were concerned.
Correct. And the people that were seeing me because they had to, not because they chose to.
Explain that.
So in both environments, when I was in the hospital setting and in public health, my clients were required to see me. They were there. It was an order.
Who was requiring them?
In the hospital setting, it would usually be an order from the physician, go in and talk to them about this particular diet. So
it's like dad, when you got in trouble, dad would say, go get me something to beat you with.
Yes. We're prescribing this to you, whether you want it or not.
Right.
Someone's going to come in and talk to you, whether you want to or not, whether you're ready or not. And it was just, and that is just this system. And people do need that education, but I just realized very quickly when people aren't ready, when they're not choosing, they're not receptive to that. And sometimes they would be, of course, there were the few that would be. But even when they were receptive, most of the time when they're in the hospital, they just want to get home. Nobody enjoys being in the hospital. It's really not a great place to be educating and really talking about what's next,
So how did you come up with this? Because now you've been in with a company called Arbonne, and as very well-respected company in the one of the areas that I know of is nutrition and skincare, body care, that type of thing. Great products. And you've been doing that for how long now?
For 18 years.
18 years. So did you transition directly into that situation?
So I did not transition purposefully into this situation. I was working for the County of Riverside as a dietitian when I decided to have my first child. And I thought, I'm going to go from full-time to part-time. And the moment my son was born, I looked at him and I thought, you know what? I want more control of my time. I want to build something where I have more flexibility to work with the people that I want to work with. And it was having a child, I think, that I realized really magnified what I was seeing. At that time, I was a dietitian for children. And I was spending all day with everybody else's children and working with people who were coming to see me because they had to see me. And at the end of the day, I thought, wow, you know what? I'm spending all day away from my child to work with people who don't really want to see me. And my child's getting what's left over at the end of the day. And I thought, you know what? I need to make a shift where I can schedule my time around my child and be where my priorities lie, and where I can work in an environment where I'm working with people who truly want to be there and want to make a shift. And I thought it was going to be starting my own nutrition practice. That's what I thought. Okay. And I joined a mom's club. Yeah. When I went back to work part-time for 1.5 years. So I worked until my son was, I had taken 4 months off and then went back to work for 1.5 years. So he was 22 months old when I took a leave of absence, joined a mom's club. And that's where I was introduced to Arbonne. And I thought, you know what? Like, I've never not had a paycheck in my own name. I thought this would be a really fun hobby until I figure out the path of starting my own business. So all right. It was completely unintentional how I ended up here, but that's the way life works often. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just kind of went with the flow, and it was a good plan. I mean, you had a noble goal. You were very motivated, and but I think it was a very bold move for you to do. I mean, you could have stayed there. You could have kept that paycheck, but you decided to take the risk. You felt the risk versus the reward was worth going for it.
It
And
was a
and
huge
because you
leap.
wanted to spend more time with your kid, right? I mean, that makes total
Yeah.
sense.
It was a huge leap. And I think what I'm most proud of, and, oftentimes the people around us, they want to protect us. And
Yeah.
so the people that were close to me, they said, are you serious?
What
You
are
you
you,
have a
nuts?
degree in nutrition. You're going to
Yeah.
go sell lipstick, because Arbonne at the time was primarily known as a skincare company.
Okay.
And so the people closest to me, they were like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking,
Yeah.
doing this? And I cared a lot at that time what people thought about
I
me. So
think
that
back
was
then network marketing had, yeah, it was, yeah. There were some companies that weren't on the up and up and had kind of a reputation. That's all changed now, I think. You,
changed with a lot of people. Still exists a little bit, yes, but it's changed a lot in
yeah,
18 years. But yes, at that I got a lot of flack from the people around me, and I almost let it stop me.
yeah.
I almost let it stop me. I remember one day being in tears and thinking, can I really do this? Do I really want to do this? And I just dug deep and I said, I want to do this because I want to find my own path. I want to start my own business. And I had wanted to start my own business from the time I got my degree, but I was afraid.
Hmm.
And I realized what my fear had cost me, and it was costing me time with my son. And I just thought to myself, how much longer am I going to let my fear keep me from living the life that I really want? And I didn't think that Arbonne, or that choice was going to be my career. I didn't think that at the time, but I thought this will be what I do in the meantime until
Hmm.
I figure that out. And then I just started getting surrounded by women who believed in me and spoke belief over me and said, I see that they spoke vision over me. And I loved the culture. And within about 3 months, I looked around and I was like, there are women who are incredibly successful here. I think I have minimized this opportunity in my mind. And I started to see the opportunity. But at that point, I still thought it was for other people. I didn't think that I had the skill set or the ability to build it. I thought that's really great for them. I'm loving what I'm doing, but I'm not sure I can do it.
Hmm.
And it took me about 9 months to really start shifting that mindset and see more for myself. And it's been such a gift.
That's awesome. So let's explore a little bit about the fear. That's I do these interviews, and I interview leaders from all kinds of places, all kinds of industries, and I think to a T, fear is some kind of manifestation of fear is a big roadblock for everybody, and it's different for everybody. So it's tough to say, yeah, just do this. But for you, what were the elements that you were wrestling with, and how did you overcome them?
That is a fantastic question. So I think initially my biggest, well, probably two. I had two fears. One of them was, what will people think of me?
Okay.
And it was a little bit of what I thought about myself. I had gone to school, I had gotten a degree, and what they were saying, I think why it resonated with me is because I had a little bit of that thought myself, right? I have a degree in nutrition and I'm going to now go do a business that anybody can sign up and do. And,
Right.
you know, um, and what will people think of that? I had respect when I worked as a dietitian, and now I'm entering a business where that's not always respected by other people. In fact, I had someone, one of my in-laws, every time I started building this business, and even as I was becoming very successful in this business, they would say to me, "Oh, how's that little thing you're doing?" And
Right.
so I was battling that. And in the beginning, I think I thought it was what other people thought, but there was a little bit of myself that thought that too. I was like, my identity was wrapped up in my degree and in my title, and I had to let go of that
Mm.
in order to live the life that I really want. And I thought, I have this degree, but I don't have the lifestyle that I want. And I'm not making the impact that I want. So am I willing to risk that to really live the way that I want to. So that was one thing that I pushed through. And the other one was, am I really capable? Because in my industry, there's part of it that's selling product and there's part of it that's building leaders.
Hmm.
And, you know, those things come up in our head. Who do you think you are? Are you really capable of that? Are people going to follow you? Are they going to believe you? Are they going to, you know, do you have the credibility to build that? And do you have the discipline? You know, there were certain areas of my life that I wasn't always disciplined in. And I think that was a huge part. You have to be very disciplined to work for yourself. And I had to build that. And it did not happen overnight. It was a process, and still is today, to continue to build that discipline, to manage my mindset. And it's a daily
What's
work.
your daily, do you have a daily ritual, daily habit?
I do. And I've built that over time. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts of what I've learned in this business, is that I get to choose. So I start every day. I am up at 4:30 every day. I listen to something positive on my way to the gym. I work out 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day. And I listen to positive podcasts, books, something, because left ungoverned, our mind is going to go to the negative. And I just say, you know what, I'm starting every day accomplishing a goal where I walk out of that gym and I say, if I can do that, I can do anything. And then I feed my mind with positive things. And that took me several years actually to make that a habit. I was really good with my nutrition for the most part, but fitness for me had always been something I would do for a couple months and then quit, and do for a couple of months and quit. And what I share a lot with leaders is I kept my word to everybody else. When I would book an appointment, I kept an appointment. And I thought I was really good at keeping my word. And then I realized I don't keep my word to myself. I keep saying fitness, nutrition, health is important to me. And yet I will sacrifice that. And I would say to myself, it's because I need to work. And it was really detrimental to me, even when I would set my business goals, because I realized if I didn't keep my word to myself in the small things, it's very hard to believe in ourselves when we set these big goals.
Wow, that's so huge. Yeah. I mean, that hit a point with me, t 3 years ago, right, as COVID was starting. My body basically filed divorce papers on me, because I was stressing it out. I was doing everything for everybody else, and I was abusing my body and not feeding it, pushing it to the limit, not exercising, um, just completely saturating it with cortisol, stress, and and eventually, it got to a point where it just said, "I'm out of here." It threw down the red flag and started walking the other way. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And I had to make a decision. So it's don't let it get that far. You didn't, but
100%.
it was like I felt. I knew I was pushing myself, and I knew at some point things would not work, but I found the
I'm
limits.
so glad you shared that too, because for so long, I really thought this is something that women do. Like that was another mindset. And it was really just until the past couple of years that even when I would share from a nutritional standpoint, I thought it was women, like because they're moms, because they have a business, we put everybody else first.
Right.
And I started speaking about that. And I actually had several men at events call me and they said, you know what, I do that too. And I realized I need to stop saying this is what women do. This is what people do.
That's what people do.
It's what people
it's people who, I don't know. It's like, I'm driven. I am very driven. And so, and I was I was in sports growing up. I'm very athletic. I love sports. I love being active and doing things. And I was trained that my body, I push my body, it will respond, it'll grow and get faster and bigger and better if I push it. And that's true. But I wasn't feeding it what it needed. I didn't give it nutrition. I didn't give it rest. I didn't give it, I gave it too much stress. I didn't let it recover from the stress I was giving it. And it eventually just ran down. And it's like grinding, the grind. They say, oh, you got to keep grinding and grinding. Well, what do you end up when you keep grinding something? A pile of dust. And
Yes,
so doing what you're teaching and what you advocate is critical to success for anybody. I don't care who it is. And especially
absolutely.
if you're driven to have the discipline to respect your body and feed it, give it rest and sleep, let it recover, understand it, take the time to know what this is. This is an incredible machine.
Yes,
And we treat it like I was treating mine like it was a slave. And I pushed it so hard. And you know what? Now that I've learned more, I'm still learning, but now that I'm intermittent fasting, I have an eating window now. I eat, very high quality food. I take supplements. I get rest, and I exercise. Core don't do strenuous stuff, but I do enough to keep things going. And boy, it's responding with energy and aliveness, and it's fun. This my body is definitely appreciating what I'm doing. So yeah,
never too late. I love that. It's never too late.
never too late. Yeah, I'm 65. It's like, you know,
Oh,
it,
amazing. And you don't look it at all. Like, and that is
I don't feel
incredible,
like
right?
it.
Like you don't feel, you said you're not feeling it.
I don't feel 65.
I love it. I love it. That's living. Can I ask you, like, so you said you pushed until you couldn't push anymore, but what shifted in your mind? Like, what was the shift in your mind? Because that happens to a lot of people, but not everybody makes the mindset shift. Like, what shifted for you where you put yourself as a priority?
Well, like I said, my body basically filed divorce papers. I mean, I had to make a decision. It, if I did not do something, well, the crowning moment for me, the moment was the health situation I had gotten myself into. My legs were getting numb. I was getting neuropathy, and I was losing blood flow. And my big toe, the nail separated on my big toe. And my daughter's a nurse, and I sent her a picture of it. She showed it to a neurosurgeon where she works, and he casually says, "Oh, he's going to lose his toe." And she told me that, and I said, "Not on my watch." So right then, that's when I decided it's like this is not going to happen to me. So I dug in. I COVID was just starting up and was doing it. So um, subsequently to that, I lost my job, and all this stuff happened. So I had time to study and focus on my body. It was a blessing, really, and I've learned so much. It's like I've gotten a almost a PhD in functional medicine, in diet and exercise, and what autophagy and all this stuff that I know now and that I'm practicing. And it's been so beneficial. Now I've got another group that I do, intermittent fasting intro group on Facebook, that we just did a 6-day extended water trace minerals fast, and I lost 10 pounds. And I know I got into autophagy, which gives my body a chance to recalibrate, pulls out, it stresses the old tired cells and allows your mitochondria to pull those cells out, replace them, recycle what they find, get the amino acids and the proteins and whatever else they can get, recycle that into new cells. And my body actually is getting younger metabolically. I'm 65 chronologically, but metabolically, I did a test through Viome.com, and they said I was 58. So
I love
yeah,
it.
so I mean, it's working. And I've had moles disappear and skin tags go away. My eyesight's better. My night vision is better. I used to have readers, and they were getting stronger and stronger. I had to make them stronger. I don't use readers anymore, even in the dark in the restaurant. I can
Wow.
because of my eyesight's improved. Um, Losing the weight, I lost 50 pounds, and I've kept it off. And
Congratulations. That is incredible.
so it's no doctors, no medications, nothing. I don't take any meds. So for me, it's been worth it. It's a challenge. I can't tell you that it's easy, and I wouldn't say that it's for everybody what I do, but the alternative for me was that, I was going to lose my big toe or worse.
That can definitely make you shift.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it was a big aha moment for me.
You know what
And
I
I
love
kind
is
of
that,
wish that on other people now, after
yes,
3 years, and the benefits that I'm receiving from this knowledge and implementing what I know, um, in my life, is priceless. I can't tell you how beneficial it is.
sometimes, right, it takes something like that. And I
Yeah.
love that it was also, you said during COVID and the loss of a job. And I just want to point out, like, it would have been very easy for you to go another route as well. You could have easily, sometimes when people are emotional, we go the other route, turn to all kinds of things, eating for emotion, drinking alcohol. You could have easily done that, but you made a choice. And I love that sometimes when we are challenged, sometimes storms, people are like, oh, I'm going through a storm. And it's like, we get to choose
Mm.
how we handle that. And you could have gone one of two directions, and you chose a direction that has changed the course of your life where you're thriving now. So congratulations,
Oh,
because
thank you. Yeah.
you could have went the other direction. You had a choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it was a decision, just like what you did. You made a decision because of your son. You wanted to spend time at home. That was a decision. I think, based on what I'm hearing for you, is you decided. You made that decision. And
Yes.
that's what drove you to the path you took. And
Yes.
so you stuck with that decision. And I think, as from a leadership perspective, that's really where it starts. For me, it was making a decision. Okay, I'm going to take 100% responsibility for my health. I'm not going to give that responsibility to the doctor. I'm not going to give it to my significant other. It's my responsibility.
Yes.
And that's what you did for your situation too.
Yes. And I think that applies to every area of life, right? I talk to entrepreneurs a lot, and I had read a book on performance recently, and I read so much, I can't remember. I wish I could
Yeah.
remember which book it was
Yeah,
in.
me too.
But the author said, if you want to make this your best year in business, you better also choose to make this the year you focus on your health, because we have to be in optimal health to make optimal decisions regarding our business and our leadership. And I think that it's so interesting because I have a business in health. And so I apply a lot of that. And there's the knowledge piece, but there's the decision piece, and are we making ourselves a priority in our life? Are we deciding that? And how that looks is different for everybody. And I always say, whether people do my program or something else, just do something, make a
Yeah.
choice for you, make a stand for you, do something that's going to improve your health. Even if it's one thing done daily over time, it makes such a difference in people's health. It doesn't have to be this massive, not everybody's in the spot where you're like in this place where like you better change your life and you had to change a lot all at once.
Oh, yeah. It
To
was
make,
drastic, but it was,
yeah,
yeah. But so what would you recommend for somebody who is interested in wanting to get better? What
to get.
what do you suggest?
Well, it's so interesting because I go, there are the situations like yours, right? And then there was mine. And where my health journey started was I went to a training. I was actually at an Arbonne training. And one of the leaders was on stage, and she said, get 1% better every day. And she
Ah,
said,
okay.
what is one goal that could make that if you got 1% better every day, it would change your life over time. And I sat there in that moment and I thought, what? It is consistency with my fitness
Okay.
routine. I was still in that start, stop,
Making a decision for you.
making a decision for me. And I said, what? If I could get consistent with my fitness. And for me, what it was a shift from trying to get a result. I was even though I had knowledge in nutrition, knowledge in health, I still was working out for a look. You know, there was a look, there was a number on the scale. I was aiming for a result, even though I knew that I needed to make choices for my health. And I left that training and I said, you know what if I just focused on getting consistent with my workouts? And I said, I really want to get consistent with working out 5 days a week. And so I was like, 5 times 52, I need to do this many workouts by the end of the year. And I said, I'm going to put it out there on social media. I like to, at that point, I was someone I really like to fly under the radar and hide.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to put it out there that I have this goal to complete this many workouts in the next year. And I'm going to post a photo every time I go to the gym. And at the end of this year, I'm going to have developed a habit of consistency of showing up.
Okay.
That changed my entire life. It not only changed my fitness, the results that I was getting, but it changed me as a person. And I said, you know, when I did that, I began to say, I am someone who keeps my word to myself.
Mm.
And that changed everything. It shifted my entire business because now every time I said I was going to do something, I believed myself because I had done it. And so that's one thing that I talk to my clients about. You know,
That's so powerful
right,
right there. Yeah.
right. Like become the person that when you say I'm going to do this, your brain doesn't go, are you really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know, become the person
That's
that when you say
huge.
I'm going to do this, your mind says, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And it starts with small things. And, you know, I have some people that say, you know, start by making your bed every day or start by getting up and doing a 15-minute walk outside. Like, what's one small thing that you can do every day that within a couple of months or within a year, like that is just who you are. You
That's
know, I
one
look
thing
at
I
you guys.
did was just along those same lines, and it's helped me to, taking it, because I've heard that 1% thing too. And it's like, okay, that's cool. What can I do? Well, I'd sold millions of dollars of stuff to companies like Apple and Microsoft and Hewlett Packard, big companies all over the world, international business. I was still afraid to talk on a video on this thing. So I was like, this is silly. I got to get over that. And it was bugging me so bad. And so finally I decided, well, I'm just going to do every day, I'm going to do a little 3 to 6 minute live on a subject. So I picked a subject that I wanted to talk about. And this one happened to be on leadership. So I did unlocking leadership, and I'd go for a little walk and I'd do a walk and talk. And the first 20 I did, I hated doing it. It was like, oh, this is just good, you know? But after 20 of them, it started getting kind of fun. And I ended up doing 102 of them over several months. And now I can do it anytime. It's like, this is fun.
Wow.
And that went into, then Lisa and I started the intermittent fasting group. And my other challenge was spending a half an hour on a Zoom with nobody else there, just recording me talking about something. It's like, who the heck would want to listen to me doing that? And that's probably still true, but I did it. And
I bet you've got people listening.
I think I got one or two maybe. And so it's just that progression and taking that stand and saying, I can do this. It's
Yeah.
so, as a leader, I've talked to leaders that, having the same thing, and they're still from a communication standpoint, being able to get out of their own way. Sometimes they either have to hire somebody to get out in front and be in the public, or they got to do it themselves. And if they have a fear of it, then that's a problem. Right. So get over it. And if you
Yeah.
need to, do the little 1% thing and do it just like you're saying. That's a beautiful strategy and analogy.
And I love what you've shared today, just about how you were afraid. And I shared with you when you asked me to do this, like I have just started saying I'm 18 years in my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached the top level of my company in a year and a half, but I had imposter syndrome for so long. And I always thought, well, somebody else can do it better. I'll let them do the video, and I really liked to be more behind the scenes. And just recently I've said, I want to get out there and share more. Everybody has a story and everybody has something that's going to impact other people. And I love that you said, I was afraid, but I did it anyway. And I think so often we look at people who are successful, whether it's in their health, whether it's in business, in any area, and we think they were always that way. And it's not true. Everybody starts somewhere. We all have fears and we get over it by doing the
Yeah.
thing. And,
Yeah.
I have people on my team, they say, you're
Action
so
conquers
amazing.
fear, right?
Action conquers fear. And my team says, you're amazing at speaking. And I say, little do you know, when I first started this business, I told my sponsor, I said, I will do this, but don't ever make me talk to a stranger. I'm not doing it.
Right?
And here we are. And same thing with my fitness. I tell people, they go, you must have always been fit. No, I wasn't. I was a couch potato, terrified to get in the gym. My first workout, I told the trainer, I said, I think I'm either going to pass out, throw up, or die. Like one of these things. It wasn't easy. And I think those are the stories,
Yeah.
and my passion is in working with people, saying, what stories are you telling yourself that are not true and are not serving you? And how are you
Wow.
going to change that story? And when you change that story, it's going to change your life.
Yeah. So important. That's that lesson right there. What stories are you telling yourself? That self-talk going on. That's what ruins opportunities and careers and better lives.
Yes. And we don't
So
even realize it's a story. We just think it's the truth, right? How many times
yeah.
do we say things to ourselves and just speak it as if it's true?
Yeah. Yeah. And your
When,
subconscious doesn't know. You tell
right,
yourself that and your subconscious goes, oh, okay.
right.
That's the way it is. And it believes you. But you could
Yes,
tell it that I'm a powerful creator and that I'm living my best life today, and my bank account is full, and my credit is at, credit cards are at zero, and I take vacations you can tell yourself these things, and your subconscious will go, okay, and make that happen for you.
yes. And it doesn't feel right at first, but we keep doing it. And all of a sudden we're like, that is who I am.
Right.
That's who I
It's really
am.
that simple.
Yes.
But
So,
sometimes you got to push yourself, get over these little fears. And in the end,
yes.
they are little,
And it's so
silly.
interesting because I met you, who you are today. So I would look at you and just think, you've always been this fit person. You've always been focused on nutrition, right? And how amazing to hear your story and go, oh, wow, just a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
you were in a completely different space. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Anyone can change their life.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Boy, this is gone really quick. This call it's been fun. I have one more question. Do you have time
Yes.
for one more?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And I ask this of everybody on the show. It's looking at your whole life, what's the boldest leadership decision that you've made, and what were the consequences?
That is a fantastic question. I think the boldest decision I ever made, honestly, was just a couple of years ago. I was already in my business, and gosh, this makes me emotional. It was choosing to see myself the way other people saw me, and that I think so often like I said, there were stories that I was telling myself that were limiting me. And
Mm,
one day I woke up and I said, the world is open. It is open. What I choose to do is open. And is it easy? No. Am I going to fail sometimes? Yes. And I made a decision that I was so afraid to fail publicly. Like, what will people think of me? And what if they think I'm not good enough? What if I think I'm not good enough? Right. And I remember deciding, you know what? People need to see what it looks like to take a risk, to fall down, and to get back up. And I said, I'm no longer going to fear falling. I'm going to do it. And I am going because I know, and the knowing came from that 1%, right? From keeping my word to myself. I said, I know I am going to get back up and I am going to show people what it looks like to rise after a failure, because I think we live in a world where everything on Instagram, everything on Facebook, we see the highlight reels. We don't see the behind the scenes. And I think a lot of people are terrified to fail, to take risks. What if I don't do it right? And I'm on a mission to show people, like, life, health, all of that. It's not about one decision. It's about making a choice, getting back up over and over and over.
Mm.
And that was it for me, was just saying, you know what? I am no longer going to be afraid of failing, afraid of what other people think. I am going to choose to get out there and be real and be authentic and let people see what it looks like truly, to succeed, and that there's struggles there, you know,
Mm.
and it's been amazing for me. And I have been able to connect with people on a level that I never connected with them before. And people share things with me, and my relationships have become more authentic. My business has become so much more fun. Um, because it opens the door for other people to be more authentic. And I just, it's, yeah, the biggest blessing in my life. And it took me till I was almost 50 to learn it.
Well, you learned it,
Yes, yes, I have.
and now you're sharing that. So
Yes.
blessings on you. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I was so nervous, and I thought, oh my gosh, 30 minutes feels like forever. And here we've been talking, and I feel it feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for spending the time on the Bold Leadership Story Show. And yeah, it's a great episode. Looking forward to telling everybody about it.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you. And thank you you're an inspiration. So grateful to have met you.
Yeah, likewise.
All
Hang in
right.
there. I'm going to stop the recording and
Perfect.
we'll chat.